Good evening, my friend. Welcome to the show. I am Lou Mangello. It is Wednesday night. It is box night. If you are watching for the very first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are a longtime box person, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Introduce yourself, grab a snack, sit back, relax. I was going to say grab a friend. I meant to say grab a snack, invite a friend. You know what I meant. It's been a long Wednesday. I am super excited, as always, to be here. If you are watching live, thanks for spending and sharing your Wednesday night with me. If you are watching on the replay, every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we are right here at WDW Radio Live. Also, make sure you turn on notifications both on the page and in the group. Sometimes notifications on Facebook a little wonky. So if I go live from the parks or in my travels, I want to make sure you are able to get everything. Also, don't forget to follow me elsewhere on social for other content, especially places like Instagram, where I'm at Lou Mangello, sharing a lot more on Instagram stories and photos and other stuff I'm working on the whiteboard on the back. But so excited to see you. I have to put my glasses on to really see your names. Aaron, Stan, Jerry, Scott, Steven Schools. Good to see you, brother. I want to follow up from the Momentum Retreat to see how you're doing. And Jim Orahosky, dude, you are like clockwork, brother. You are always here. Corey Bassett, the keeper of said box, D23 Expo, counting down like super, super close. Rachel Goodman. Let me see. Judy Bennett. Jimmy Styles. What's Jimmy Styles doing here? Who let that guy in? Allison, Renee, Marie Robinson, Jimmy Crumpler Jr., and everybody else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is really good to see you guys. I have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. The internets, they are exploding once again. It's funny. You don't know what well, you do know. If history is any indicator, you do know some of the things that will garner some of the most passionate response. Listen, the one thing you can say about Disney fans, like them, don't listen, a passionate bunch, and I love that. And if you guys weren't, I wouldn't be here. So we are all a passionate bunch, and certainly there's a lot to talk about, including, but not limited to, the annual Passholder price increases that happened overnight yesterday, from the day before, Tuesday, whatever. We saw them Tuesday morning when we woke up, so we have a lot to talk about with that. I am going to share my thoughts. More importantly, I am going to want to hear yours. Father George, good to see you. Kelly Lawrence, they are melting down for sure. Eric Sanchez, Navarez, Becky Mankin from, the Becky Mankin from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. For all your vacation planning needs, visit mousefantravel.com. That Becky Mankin? Go figure. Go figure. Well, it's good to see everybody. Hopefully you will call in and weigh in with some of your thoughts as well about it. And Jimmy is just here. The training is pretty sweet, having nights off. Jimmy, looking forward to seeing you in all of your food-related goodness. So I guess we might as well look. I think we should probably get right in it, and then I will certainly I'll open up the voicemail lines. Producers are standing by and I have no producers, and nobody's really standing by. It's me and a second laptop to take your calls, to have what I want to be a very intelligent, rational, well thought out, hopefully, at least on your part. We'll see if mine is well thought out, discussion about the price increases and changes. Let me start off. First things first, right out of the gates, I need to be perfectly clear. How clear? Crystal. First things first. I pay full price, as I have for 20 years, for my annual pass for myself, my wife, and my 2 kids. I have never, ever received a free pass. Certainly not, other than like for a media event, which I always disclose. I have never received an annual pass free from Walt Disney World, despite rumors on the internet to the contrary. I will Anyone that challenges what I have to say, I will give you the same offer that I have for many years. If you think that I am not being truthful about me paying for my own annual passes and my own food, I am happy to show you my monthly credit card bill with the understanding that if I do show you said bill, you are responsible for all Disney-related expenses that are on there, including dining. So think careful. Also, right, so in addition to paying for my annual passes and food and experiences that I go to, again, media events outside that realm, I am not independently wealthy, nor am I an heir to some sort of mysterious fortune or treasure. I feel the exact same bills and pressure of credit cards, and trust me, if you saw what's sitting on this desk, it is a big source of my stress. It's a pile of credit card bills. And look at me. You can imagine what I spend just on food alone. So I certainly understand the concerns when it comes to money. Now, with that out of the way, let's just start by talking about the facts. Let's talk about what the changes were, black and white, or in this case, red and green and blue and things like that. Yesterday, Disney released changes in all of the annual pass pricing. If you look at the grid, you'll see the original price as well as the renewal price, and then the new price, and then the new renewal price as well, going in descending order from a non-Florida resident Platinum Plus, which is the most expensive ticket, all the way down to the Silver, which is a Florida resident only pass, as well as the Platinum Plus, Platinum, and Gold Pass. I tried to make it a little easy for you by doing a little bit of the math. The non-resident Platinum and Platinum Plus passes are both up $225-ish. The Florida resident Silver Pass is up about $40. The Florida resident Gold, which you can also get if you are DVC, is up $90. And the DVC and Florida resident Platinum and Plus are up $150. So basically, the renewal rates are pretty much discounted by about 15% off the current rates. So obviously, a Florida resident and DVC renewal is going to see a much lower cost compared to the out-of-state rates. Now, let's just sort of break this down a little bit. There's also other passes too. There's also the Epcot After 4 pass and a few other passes as well. But the pricier passes obviously are getting the double-digit percentage hikes, right? So if you just so the Platinum Pass for Florida residents is about 20%, and then 25 more for those living out of state. And the other thing to be clear too, right, when we're talking about this in terms of Disney, if past performance is any indicator, usually there's a dance that's played by Disney and that place down the street in terms of who releases the price increases first. Usually one has to drop before the other, and I'm sure within 1 to 2 weeks we will see price increases. They're usually relatively similar in terms of the type of growth, in terms of cost. Across the board, it may be different now, and I think we'll get to some of the reasons. Now, in terms of breaking down the discussion of the price increase, and I have spent a little bit of time, probably more than I would have cared to, reading comments, not just in the Box People group, but other groups on Facebook, on the Twitter, on Instagram, on stories. I've been really trying to get as broad of a spectrum of input from others. But I wanted to share my personal thoughts on this first. And to a certain degree, this is not about Disney really at all, right? And let me get something else out of the way too. I am not here to try and pressure you or convince you or justify the increase in ticket prices. I don't like it as much as the next guy because I'm not just buying one, I'm buying 4. I have now 4 kids who I've tried desperately to pretend that they are under the age of 3 and just sneak them in a stroller. With a 15 and 13-year-old, it doesn't happen. So I am paying full price for 4 passes. And we all have, my kids want to now go with their friends. They want to go in the summer. So getting a silver pass is no longer an option for us. So it is a pricey investment for me and my family. But I also want you to think about how and why this happens. I got to put on my glasses so I can see your things. Stan, I get it. Everybody, and that's why I said I am not independently wealthy. Audio tour is still on sale for $10. It impacts everybody. But let's sort of be honest and sort of take this out of a Disney-specific conversation. Prices go up for everything every year. Cars, houses, movie tickets, concert tickets, flights, which is a whole other thing. Imagine if Disney changed their flights depending on when you bought your ticket, just on a whim. They could be one price on Tuesday. They could be a completely different price on Thursday. Oh, you want to fly tomorrow? Good luck. You want to come to Magic Kingdom tomorrow? Oh, we're gonna increase the prices 4 times over. If you've ever taken a last-minute flight, you know how much that really hurts. Look, we have been New York Giants season ticket holders. My mom still has a house in New Jersey, so we've been Giants season ticket holders since I was born like 75, 76, somewhere around there. Giant season tickets right now, and this is, I'm using maybe last year or 2 years ago, they might even more, they're about $6,000-$7,000 per seat per year, including a personal seat license. If you do the math, that's more than, let's see, there's a game. You're probably talking about $800 or so a ticket. Home prices go up. Everything goes up. We have to remember, too, that going to Disney World is a luxury. Like anything else, it is not a right. It is not, something, it's not like we have to go to the grocery store to, get ramen and eat. And going back to my earlier statement, to make you understand, so we were talking about people getting super hit hard and they might not be able to do it. I get it, man. Like, I sacrifice a lot, including other things that I really enjoy having or doing or going to, so that I can do this and so that I can have 4 tickets for my family. Like, there's things I don't buy. There's places that I don't go because I know I've got to get my tickets to the park every year. And I think that's when we have a conversation about the ticket price increase and how do you have to do your own math, right? One size, one answer does not fit all. We all have, it's a very, very subjective thing. So it used to be, you'd be able to say, well, you would figure out the number of park days you go in a year and how much that ticket would cost versus an annual pass. And that number would fluctuate anywhere between maybe 6 or 9 days, sometimes 10 days in the parks. Meaning if you spent in a 365-day span, if you spent 6, 7, 8, 9 days, again, it's sort of, fuzzy numbers. If you spent, we'll call it 8 days in the parks, that's when you need to start thinking about buying an annual pass. I don't think that math is necessarily across the board applicable, because you need to think about things like the number of days you need. Do you need to park hop? Where are you going to stay? What are you going to buy? Right? You've got to think about what your overall Disney budget is going to be. It also doesn't take into account, and I think this is where the conversation about the increase in cost and the justifying the cost of an annual pass and the way you vacation at the parks, whether you are a Florida resident, whether you are a local, or you are flying in from Anchorage a couple times a year, and I actually know people that do that, you are paying for more than just a discounted park admission, right? membership absolutely has its privileges, and there are additional benefits to the annual pass. And I know a lot of you know this already. There's additional benefits to the annual pass other than just the discounted price of admission, right? Whether it's complimentary parking, separate lines just to get into the parks, the photo pass downloads, which if you're a photo person can be hundreds of dollars per visit, let alone per year, merchandise discounts, sports and recreation discounts, tour discount, entertainment discounts, special events, right? So there's VIP pass holder nights, which are awesome. You are saving 20% at a lot of restaurants in Walt Disney World. I will tell you, I've eaten my annual pass worth of saving money on food. If you come and stay here, you save up to 40% on hotels. There's H2O Glow nights. There's discounts on guided tours. You can actually save more, actually. Less and more on some restaurants. There are a ton of different benefits that I think that you have to weigh. So whether it is again, up to 20% in the merchandise discounts, there are additional benefits at restaurants. Tables in Wonderland. Like again, as a food person, the ability to get a Tables in Wonderland card where I save 20% on all of my meals, including alcohol. You know, sometimes I go out with people who like to have a cocktail or 7. Up to 10 guests at 100 plus restaurants. There's also special offers, special dining events. There's a lot to take into consideration in terms of justifying the cost and the increase. And look, and I think that's what people are struggling with is why is there an increase? Why does there have to be such a marked increase? Well, like I said, I don't know of anything that I purchase or anywhere that I go and the price now is not higher than it was last year or 6 months ago. Going to the movies is like you need to sort of break the piggy bank if you want to take a family of 4 to the movies between dinner and popcorn. And yes, I buy the $27 size popcorn. It's $100+ to go to the movies when some theaters are $25 a ticket. That's unfathomable to some people considering how inexpensive movie theaters used to be. So when we think about the justification, and again, this is not, I have no skin in the game. I would love for Disney to be like, you know what? Look, let me sort of go back for a second, right? Disney does not have, well, all right, let me do it this way. Why is there an increase, right? So there's just the normal continuing inflation increase. Also, Galaxy's Edge is not going to pay for itself. Tron, gondolas, all the new resorts, everything else. You cannot expect more, but want things to stay the same. It's a quote from once. Everything comes at a price, dearie. These things, the money has to come from somewhere. And look, I will always try and make lemonade out of lemons. So there are some possible benefits, right? If you are a pass holder, if you are even coming to the parks as a non-pass holder, there are some potential benefits to this. How else are you going to make these parks more attractive, yet stop continuing increases in attendance other than by making the cost of entry to a certain degree for passes like this? Because annual pass holders, we make, especially here in Florida and in Disneyland, make up a huge portion of the population. Look, ticket prices have increased every single year since 1987. We're just hearing the outrage more because of social, right? Especially from annual pass holders and local annual pass holders. What you don't sometimes realize is Walt Disney World, the combined theme parks last year, saw almost a 5% increase in attendance. That's about 58.5 million guests in 2018. And that's I did some research. That's Themed Entertainment Association and AECOM. Disney doesn't release numbers. Those are sort of the projections that they would. So attendance continues to increase, as well as ticket prices continue to increase. What ends up happening, right? And look, now we have this abundance of new attractions, new experiences, new conveyances. I call the gondolas almost an attraction. New hotels, new restaurants, new lands that are coming that are going to continue to increase demand and stresses on the parks. So you have to sort of pay for by increasing the costs, and it's just it's basic economics. And I was thinking about this earlier this morning, and again, I don't work for the company. I have no stake in the company. I would love for Disney to say, you know what, Lou, you're a good guy, man. You come to the parks a lot. My God, you eat a whole lot of stuff. We're going to cut your ticket price in half. They don't do that, right? They're not going to do that. And Disney does not have to, if you think about it, Disney does not have to offer annual passes, right? Look, you can I'm sure there's plenty of you that go to Starbucks every single day. But Starbucks has never said, you know what, we're going to give you the opportunity to prepay for all of your coffee for the year at a discount. They don't have to do that. There's no sort of, that's what the pass holders are doing. Look, Target and Publix do not adjust the prices for me because I go 100 times a year. I go to Target a lot, and I never walk out at less than $100. I don't know how they do it. It's brilliant, right? Just because it's sort of happening at a larger scale, it doesn't mean that there's a finite amount of space and seats. So the supply and demand absolutely comes into play here. So I think, again, this is an incredibly subjective thing. You've got to be able to either justify it or save for it. And look, I think if you want to get an annual pass, there's lots of ways to do it. And this is not financial advice, but get a single low interest, no interest credit card and use that only for your Disney trip, right? By the way, there's 102 ways to save money for that Walt Disney World book just out there, just so you know. If you are a Florida resident, and again, if you can afford it, the fact that they offer it at at no interest is a phenomenal benefit. Again, they don't have to do that, but they do to do it. They do choose to do that, and as a Florida resident, that makes it affordable for me. If I wasn't, I probably would take my own advice and get sort of my own. I'd get a Disney Visa that had a zero interest or low interest initial balance, and I would use that to pay for my annual pass. Or again, I would continue to do some of the things that I do in terms of sacrifice. That's me. That may not work for you. But it's I want to sort of bring things full circle. So because I feel I won't be able to touch on it later. There are additional benefits too. I think people, when they hear about the price increases, they get very upset. They start thinking about the numbers and stuff too. But there are additional benefits too. So they announced sort of very quietly on the Disney Parks blog in a summer offer. Actually, I think it came in an email from Disney Parks blog that Platinum Plus, and Premier annual pass holders are going to get the ability to experience Star Wars Galaxy's Edge before it opens to the public on August 29th, what they call a complimentary special preview opportunity before the land's opening on a first-come, first-served basis. I do not know, nor will I speculate on what the dates are. It's interesting because D23 Expo is just a few days before, so we don't know how they're actually going to do that. I hope it's not on an overlap because we will be out there for Galaxy's Edge. The bottom line, and I want to hear from you, and I see you guys are calling in, and I absolutely want to take your calls. I want to go through some of your messages here as well. The bottom line, this is a very subjective and it's a very personal decision based on not just your finances, but how and where and the way you travel. For me, it's worth the sacrifices that I make so that I can take advantage of visiting whenever I would like to. The discounts absolutely make up the discounts for me. Make up they help to justify the cost. I use tables a lot. I use the other discounts on merchandise and stuff like that a lot. But also, and I don't really see this from you guys, and my chat seems to have frozen, so I'm going to have to pull it up here. But the one thing that is disappointing, and it's the nature of the beast, even though we're talking about something that we all love, is you can't get mad at people that do want, or yes, even necessarily need an annual pass, right? Maybe they don't have as fancy a car. I don't have, I don't have a Ferrari, I don't have a Lambo. I have a car that gets me from A to B because I know that I am going to spend money on my pass and at Disney. It's not just where I go for work. It's where I go because it makes me happy. So I saw a lot of people getting mad at others who are like, well, yeah, I am going to get an annual pass. And I don't think that anger and resentment is necessarily justified. Maybe they don't buy or do some of the things that other people do. And that's not what this is supposed to be about. So I absolutely want to hear from you. I see, Edward says Disney World is still cheaper than Disneyland. Melanie Jones says still worth every penny. We're going next month, and our friends are paying $600 for park hoppers without water parks for 7 days. And that's exactly what I mean, Melanie. Like, you have to justify how you go and where you go and when you go. Like, for me, again, if I went, 8 days in the summer and went to a couple of water parks and ate at a lot of restaurants, that's an easy justification for me for the annual pass, because you're going to spend that money anyway if you are visiting Walt Disney World, right? Am I making sense? Or I'm very hungry. I haven't had dinner yet tonight. Marlon Chan says the California Park annual passes went up around $200 and we only have 2 parks. Randall says, I think it's agree. I definitely agree. Marie says, if I lived in Florida, it would definitely be worth it. And again, I'm just quickly looking through the Passholder website as we're talking, just going over all of the different benefits and discounts that come along with having an annual pass. And if you do just, a few of these maybe on a single trip, I think you have to start thinking about where that kind of break-even point is for you individually. Corey says it just further commits you to the cause. Either you're all in and going to go take value, or it might just not be for you. Corey, you're right. It is absolutely not. I am not saying that it is for everybody, and I understand, especially whether an individual or you have kids. It's tough. And look, my kids eat a lot more now than they did when they were younger. Like, my daughter likes oysters now. You're a very expensive date, Marion. So, my cost of going to the parks and going out to lunch, I was out with my kids today. I'm like, man, it used to be a lot cheaper to go out to lunch when it was just me and you guys with, a Tupperware full of strained peas or whatever it is. Patrick says, considering what you get, the increase is worth it. Patrick, I agree. Right? For me, I get the value. I still will tell you, and this is not Lou WDW Radio, this is just Lou Mongello. I still feel for the money that I spend, I still feel as though I get great value from it. I've never, ever walked into the parks and said, man, like, this is really not worth it for me. Like, I still walk in and have a great time and get excited. And considering, again, what I would spend if I took my family to look, if I go to Magic Kingdom for 4 hours one day and walk around, obviously eat something and hit a couple of attractions, prorated that day, those 4 hours are going to cost me a lot more than the 4 of us going out to dinner or the 4 of us going to a movie. So I'm able to justify and rationalize it in my mind. but again, I want to, I want to be clear that I am not trying to convince anybody, or I can justify the increase from a business point of view, from a financial point of view, from a completely objective dollars and cents. This is the state of the world 2019. This is where money is coming from and has to go to. And I get it. I'm not saying that I like it. Nobody wants the prices to increase, but this has to be your choice and something that you can justify. Amy says lower quality parks are similar in their one-day ticket, much less quality experience and attention to the guest experience. Chad Williams says the more you eat, the more you save. I agree with you, Chad, and that's exactly why I eat what I do. Devin, I absolutely get the fact that it makes it more difficult for an out-of-state pass holder because of the price increases. Look, I wish Disney offered everybody what they offer to the Florida annual pass holders, which is the no interest payment plan. Like, that would make it easier. But that's why I said, like, find maybe a credit card company that can do it, and you can sort of get that same type of benefit. And look, I would not be I will be very I absolutely expect other parks in the area, as they are look, it's what happens. One goes first and then the other follows suit with an increase. The other park down the street is building. There's a lot of stuff that's coming there. That money is going to have to come from somewhere too. Again, we want more, we expect more, but sometimes get frustrated when our ticket prices have to increase, right? Again, as a giant, I'm sort of, this is not really necessarily about Disney per se. Like, football is still played the same way in 2019 as it was in 1977. Why is a Giants ticket not $30 a game, but $500 a game? What's different, right? Well, there's a new stadium. The players demand more money. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to go into it. So I might not love it, but I'm sure if I went to the Giant game, I would have a great time. It's one of the things I miss about going with my dad and being in New Jersey. But that's got to be the decision that you make. Is that increase worth it for you? And if not, well, how does that adjust your travels to Walt Disney World? Are you going to go less and just buy, a couple of one-day non-park hopper tickets? How close are you to what, are you going to go back? What happens if you go back a second time throughout the year? What if you decide to go and take a trip and you want to go for a couple of days? Well, how much closer now are you to that annual pass holder level? And again, they're not for everybody. They, it's that's why they offer one day, one. I had a phone conversation with somebody whose friend is going with their family. They're on a budget. They're only going to be able to go to one park one day and stay off property. And they were asking, what was the best way for them to maximize their experience and save their money. So I get that not everybody can and certainly will be an annual pass holder. It's not for everybody. But look, if it was up to me, we would all move to Florida in this one big WDW Radio commune, like right behind Magic Kingdom. And, and our tickets would all be more affordable. But I would love to hear from you. If anybody wants to call in, I will open up the voicemail line at 407-900. Really? No, Lou, that's the voicemail for the show. This is the call-in line. It's 407-413-WDW1. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on annual pass holder, whether it's the cost. Do your own cost-benefit analysis. And look, let's not sort of gloss over the fact that things like having early access to Galaxy's Edge is a big deal. Like, considering what that is going to be like when it opens, that is going to be a really, really big deal. Let me take the first caller here. Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air.
Hi, Lou. It's Caleb, sorry.
Hey, Caleb, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
My question is, what was the
question is whether it's worth it to get an annual pass for one person in your family of 6.
That was my mom.
So is it worth getting an annual pass for one person out of 6? I mean, it depends. Are you a Florida resident?
No.
No.
Right. So remember, the annual passes, just like any ticket, is specific to an individual, so they cannot be shared among everybody. So, one person can't go one day and then one person go the next day. If you all travel together, that might be tough. Say, all right, peace out, everybody. You guys stay at the resort. I'm going to Magic Kingdom for the day. But again, it's such a subjective decision in terms of the finances and how and where and when you vacation.
The reason why I was asking, and I'm Dawn, by the way, is because, they said that with the parking loan, like just the parking, that's a good reason. If one of you has it in your family.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. I understand. So you're saying, right. So is it worthwhile? Now, I'm sorry. I understand your question. I misunderstood. Is it worthwhile to get an annual pass for the sake of the benefits? There is certainly, and again, you've got to run the numbers yourself. If you're going to drive there and park every day, it's $20 a pop. It's up to $40 if you do. I think premium is or premier parking is $40 a pop. If you eat at Walt Disney World restaurants, if you're going to buy merchandise, those 10 to 20% discounts absolutely add up for a party of 6. Remember, if you get tables and you get one person with an annual pass, one person with tables in Wonderland, that's where that gap is very, very much shortened. I think that's a great question and a great point, but you've got to sort of sit down and look at how you vacation and sort of run the fuzzy numbers yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, great question.
I mean, we still have from, like, when we went in 2000 and 2006, we always bought the no expiration, and then they got rid of that. So we still have, like, 20 days of each of us have for, like, the water parks and more stuff.
Right.
So last year we went in May, and we finally got to go to Typhoon Lagoon for the first time.
And don't forget, too, right, and don't forget, too, you also get sometimes up to 20% or sometimes even more of a discount on your resort room. So saving up to 40%, and Becky can probably correct me in terms of timing when some of those discounts apply, saving up to 40% on your room is a huge discount that you're going to lose if you now say, well, I'm not getting annual. I don't mean you, but I mean in general. All these people I see online are like, forget you, Disney. I'm not buying an annual pass. I'm just going to go down 5 days a year. You still might be better off buying the annual pass. And I know the initial outlay is obviously much greater.
Yeah.
So, it's worth having the annual pass.
Yeah, we've never stayed on resort either. So, my husband and I did before we had kids, but I'm thinking that would be a good deal.
Yep, absolutely. Great question. Yep.
It is worth having the annual pass, or?
I think so. Again, you guys have to answer that for yourself, but I think so. So, so great question. Great question.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye. So parking is $25, $50 for premium. And I just answered the call and hung up on you, so I apologize. Here, I'll leave. Okay, I've got the number back up. AP at 30%. Becky Mankin from MEI Mouse and Travel says AP at 30% off can be better than free dining depending on your needs. I hear you, sister. Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air. Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air.
Hey, Lou. This is Scott from Tennessee.
Hey, Scott. How you doing?
Doing good. Just a quick question. Do you think the prices will now settle in, or do you think that they'll continue to go up at this rate each year as we move to the 50th and beyond?
I can't speak to the rate. I mean, look, this is definitely a little bit of a bigger jump than we have seen in the past. We may attribute that to things like Galaxy's Edge. Look, I mean, it is not. It's one thing to add an additional attraction, but you're adding an entire land. And lest we forget that Tron is coming, They have not announced what I think is going to come out at D23 Expo in terms of expansion to places like Epcot and I think some other areas as well. If you drive through property, there's also Skyliners. There's like 3 new resorts and lots of new restaurants. So there's been a massive outlay of cash on Disney's part to enhance the guest experience here, which may be part of the reason why the jump is so pronounced.
Well, it just seems like if it settles in, this is not that big of a jump in 2-3 years. If it goes up $10, $20, $30, but if it continues to go up at $150, $200 rate,
right,
that's when it could get out of control for somebody that's out of state like me.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I appreciate your show, and thanks for all you do.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air.
Hey, Lou, it's Chris Bannis.
Chris Bannis. I love Chris Bannis.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in because I just bought my first annual pass ever, but I bought it last week before the price increase.
Look at you jumping in before.
I know. You know what? I said to Paul, I said, you know what? There was some divine intervention. I think my mom was poking me from up in heaven saying, if you're thinking about it, you better get that thing right now.
A wise man once said, now is the time. Now is the best time.
Yes. So, will I do it again next year? I don't know. That's going to have to be something that I'm going to think about.
Right.
But the benefits that I'm thinking I'm going to reap from this, I bought a ticket for the Christmas party and, I got a discount on that. And, there's just other things, plus all the giveaways that they have. I'm going to come in November for the first time ever because I'm retiring this Friday.
Congratulations. Good for you.
Thank you.
Even though you're way too young to retire, but that's okay.
Well, yeah, 40, yeah, right. No, it's like I've always worked in a service industry, like retail or, something else, and I've never been able to take time off at holiday time. So this is going to be a first for me since 1976. I've never been there at holiday time, so I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, so I'm coming in November, and then I'm coming again in May. So I'm thinking, okay, the amount of day tickets that I would be buying for those 2 packages, I'm already paying. It's already paid for itself.
Right, and that's why I said the numbers have to work for the individual. There might be somebody who says, "Look, I would love to get it, but I'm sort of going paycheck to paycheck, and I can't have that big outlay right now," which is why I suggested things like looking at some of the no-interest credit cards or low-interest credit cards that have, a reward system too, where you can get your annual pass and then sort of pay them off monthly or continue to sort of like kite those credit cards to continue to get the zero interest, if need be.
But you know what? I put mine on my Disney Visa, so I'm going to earn points from that. And then I'll transfer those onto my rewards card, and then I can use those for expenses while I'm there. So it's a win-win for me.
Absolutely. I get it. And good for you, and congratulations on your retirement. I hope to see you when you come down in the fall.
I hope so. Okay, you take care.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm trying to read... Let's see. Becky says that's why we work with each client to see if annual pass holders versus not, doing the math based on your needs and approach. And I look, it's fun to sort of do your spreadsheet in terms of where you're going to go. I think you need to do that spreadsheet in terms of how you go and if the annual pass is justifiable for you as well. Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air.
Hi, Lou. This is Becky Wicks from Pennsylvania. How are you?
Good, Becky. How you doing?
Good, good. You know my sister very well, Deanna from Latrobe.
Oh, my God, I love Deanna from Latrobe.
She and I have been going back and forth with this debate because we're both out-of-state pass holders. We have been for probably 5 years now. And I just wish that they would extend the same payment policies for annual passes to out-of-state pass holders. Because for us, paying $12 a month extra or $10 a month extra isn't anything, but coming up with, $1,100 in one chunk is really hard.
Right.
I wanted to voice my opinion that I wish that they would come up with something like that for us.
In a perfect world, I wish they would too, which is why I tried to think of non-Disney alternatives that would give you sort of that similar type benefit. A lot of times if you get a new credit card, they'll give you 6 months, 12 months, no interest, which basically works out the same way. And that's why I said just use that only for the Disney things. And I understand why Disney necessarily can't do it for everybody, right? When there's 30 million visitors coming in, you can't, it would be a much more exponentially higher financial burden on them to sort of carry that financial weight without getting some sort of interest on it too. But you're right. Look, in a perfect world, I agree with you. This conversation would probably not be people would not be as excitable if that option was offered for everybody.
No, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. I'm just quickly going through. Lisa also says wishes they would offer the same payment plans. Lisa Milam. Let me see. Let me go up a little bit. Sam's Club is still selling annual passes at the old price for any Sam's Club's members out there. A lot of people liking the Disney Visa card. Let's take another one. Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air.
Lou.
Yes.
Hey, this is Jimmy Crumpler calling you, buddy, from North Carolina.
Hey, brother. How you doing, man?
Great. Better than I deserve, brother. I agree with you on the process of the annual passes, all the discounts you've been. My wife and my son and myself have been to Disney 3 different occasions since November of 2018 for a grand total of approximately 21 days. We stayed off property 2 times, so naturally we've had to pay for parking on, we didn't with our annual passes, so that saved us roughly $25 a day. With the discounts, the one feature that you mentioned earlier, the memory maker, oh my gosh, that's worth its weight in gold. I have pictures at home that you couldn't give me $1 million for, that the memory makers had taken into parks. That's one perk that I recommend, whether you're an annual pass holder or not, you take advantage of if you have to buy it. So that alone in itself is a $170 purchase.
Yeah.
Three different occasions, you're talking about $510. Roughly half of an annual pass with the parking at $25 a day or over 20 days in the parks. There's the other part of an annual pass right there paid for.
Yep.
Not to mention the discounts on the merchandise that you can receive, the T-shirts, the souvenirs, the toys for the kids. I mean, Pandora for your wife. I mean, it's just amazing at the discounts that you can get, and I'll tell you this right quick. I drive a truck for Walmart. That's why I was giving you a little slack a while ago when you were talking about Target. You need to go to Walmart to spread the love as well.
I love Walmart.
But somebody commented on the one about the Walmarts around Disney, and I will have to admit the one over by Westgate is crazy busy all the time. But I was actually, and like I said, I drive a truck for Walmart, and I was actually into Orlando here back in April. And I had to stop and spend the night right there within 10 minutes of the park. I'm a junkie. Disney is my life, basically. I listen to you. I listen to WDW Radio, your podcast, Deep Park Radio, Sorcerer Radio. Everything is Disney. And I was able to take an Uber from the location that I stayed at a Walmart over to the parks and spend a couple of hours in the parks, and it didn't cost me a dime, but just for my Uber fee. And without an annual pass, I couldn't have done that. So I understand. I mean, I wish my paycheck would go up 20% every year. It'd be amazing. But I understand with all the new things coming, all the resorts coming, Galaxy's Edge coming. I mean, everything's got to be paid for, and you're talking 60,000 plus cast members on Disney site, the largest single employer in the world, in one location.
Right.
They've got to be paid. They've got benefits. They've got, all kinds of things that have to be paid, and that money has to come from somewhere.
Right, and they just got their price. They just got their wage increase. I will take the opportunity to once again, I think something that does not get enough attention from Disney. I was actually talking to a cast member yesterday. Cast members now, they can go to college and get their college paid for as cast members. Again, that's money that Disney is putting out that maybe we as guests don't see, but again is being funneled in a good way. So I'm with you. I'm on board with you, brother. And like I said, I wish the ticket prices didn't go up and we all got pay increases as well. But like I said, whether you're going to a football game, a movie, somebody in the box before said, look, you go to a show on Broadway, it's going to cost you $300-$400 a night just to walk in the door to see a 2-3 hour show. So the cost of everything goes up. I think just because we love this place so much and it means so much to us, it hurts maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, it does. It really does. The changes that Disney has made this year, I won't touch on the stroller ban because I was one of those individuals that had one of those type strollers, but that's neither here nor there. I understand the process, and I'm a smoker too, so I was touched on that ban as well. So I've been hit kind of hard this year with Disney, but still, all in all, my wife and I are not sports fans. We don't go to ball games or anything like that. But just touching back on the point where I was in Orlando that night, and I just went to the park for a couple of hours. Well, that ticket would have cost me roughly $100. So I mean, it's really, we all hate it. We do. We hate the cost increase, but and that's a good point. I had never thought about what you were saying about the credit card, getting a 0% interest credit card, and just pay it off, before the interest kicks on. And it's basically like Disney's offered you a, out of state discount, so
exactly.
to speak.
Yep. Exactly.
But Lou, one more question for you before I've got to go. It may be too early for you to determine this or not. I'm coming down to Disney the last week of July. It would be really nice if you were doing a meetup the last week of July somewhere in the park, somewhere at Disney Springs.
I will see what I can do, and I'll definitely try and do it outside the parks because I know a lot of people are blacked out over the summer. So I'll definitely try and be cognizant of that. I would love to meet you, man. I'd love to meet you in person, and I appreciate you listening.
I just listened to the second part of the Finding Florida episode on the podcast today, too, dude. Great, man. You don't do enough of those. You need to do more of those a week, like every other day, man. I mean, it's like, you have to go back and listen to ones that you've missed, when you run out of the one that you've already listened to, because you just like, I mean, you're great, man. You really are. You're great.
Thank you,
great.
buddy. I really
appreciate
tell me,
everything you do,
what's your name again?
Jimmy Crumpler.
Jimmy Crumpler. All right, brother. This is why when I see you in the box, now that I can associate your voice with your name.
All right, brother. You have a great night, Lou. Appreciate you taking my call.
You too. I appreciate you, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I dig his accent, man. I like that accent a lot. I'm just quickly going through some of the other comments in here as well. Yeah, so William Magalio says Galaxy's Edge is going to employ several hundred cast members, and they are definitely hiring new. I mean, I know that there was just I have some friends who who just got hired who hadn't been hired earlier, so they do have to populate the parks with cast. Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air, or not? Maybe not. What AP gets me dinner at the Boathouse with Lou? Jeff C. Fouts, you don't need any sort of special pass. Just, hit me up. I'm always down for some Boathouse. I'm always down for Boathouse. Samantha, please tell Jim Meeker I just... Jim Meeker says, hi. Jimmy, can you comment so we can all friend you, says Leslie Stacy. Everybody likes Jimmy's accent. Let's try try this again. Looks like the same caller. Hey, it's Lou. You're
That's
on the
right.
air.
Hey, Lou. It's Will McGalley, who just read my.
Hey, man. How you doing?
There. I'm good.
I appreciate you chiming in.
Yeah, no, I really think that there's just a lot. I mean, it's, even just thinking about Galaxy's Edge by itself, let alone all these new attractions coming in and all these new attractions coming into Epcot that they're working on, and the gondola system. There's just so much. It costs money,
I mean, everything does, and that's what I was trying to say before. This is not necessarily just a conversation about Disney, and I think it's just more pronounced because the numbers are so much higher. But I thought about. I was just saying, like, I bought movie tickets the other day because I know I'm going to see Far From Home at least 3 times in the theater, and I'm like, man, it's not, it hits you a little bit when you have to buy tickets for 4 people and then knowing what it is, and so I get it, but I just think nobody is going and complaining online about the increase in movie ticket prices or, like buying a car. Like, my God, cars are like, I had to go buy a car, about a year ago, and I was just shocked. I literally had sticker shock at how much cars were. And I was still thinking sort of that mindset. I think the way we think about the mindset in terms of buying Disney tickets, of a few years ago as opposed to, what they are now. But it's everything increases every single year.
Yeah. And you just wait till the college education comes into play.
Dude, we're having a nice night. Why do you got to go there? What? Audio tours are still on sale, $100 each. You kids better get scholarships, man. That's all I'm telling you. There better be scholarships ahead. So
there you go. No, but it's true. And same thing with, like, we were just thinking about theater tickets. If you go to see a Broadway style show, we live up near New York, and a Broadway show, 2 tickets, driving in, parking, dinner.
Yep.
You're talking, you spend $500 right there.
Yeah.
Even
people down here, the Dr. Phillips Theater, which is beautiful. My wife and daughter went to go see Wicked, and then they showed me what the prices of tickets were. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need. Again, I sacrificed not going to see that show because I'm like, you know what? I would rather funnel that money towards my Disney ticket and meal at the Boathouse.
I right with you, man. That's exactly how we are. We swap out theater tickets for, like community theater and high school shows and things like that, where honestly they're really good too. So we enjoy that. And that helps us funnel that money into Disney. That's our thing. So, but anyway, all right. Well, thank you so much, Lou.
All right. Thanks for weighing in, brother. Have a good night, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
So there you go. And I would love to keep this conversation going and respond to questions that everybody might have on the unknown person. Unknown person is calling. Hello, unknown person. You're on the air.
You should have my number by now. Come on.
It just shows up as what Skype doesn't understand what those funny all you have like 16 numbers in your phone numbers in the United Kingdom.
Jeeves, give Lou my number to him, please, for crying out loud. How are you doing, sir?
I'm better now to hear from you, brother. How you doing, man?
All right, I just thought I'd chip in a bit because from the UK, it costs quite a bit to get over. And we always do buy, funny enough, one annual pass. I'm normally one who gets that. Because I think, you remember, like last time, I think we did about 23 days. Mm-hmm. And 17 of those were in a Disney park. So that's what's that, $25 a day, I think it was, car parking. That almost pays for the difference between an annual pass and what we can get in the UK of a 21-day pass. And that's not forgetting about, you got discounts, you got food, you got all that stuff.
I mean,
then you can also...
Excuse me. I would say the discounts alone can justify that.
Yeah. It works out, honestly, mate. It works out right because we always do it. Because we've got to fly, we've got to get, tickets, got to hire a car, get a villa. We have to make sure every little pound he saves up for it all. And buying an annual pass, honestly, works such a treat. It's nonsensical. It's just logical to buy it because it does work out. And you get we also get the tables in one lane.
Right. I've seen you eat, so that's a good idea that you get tables.
Yeah. I mean, we tend to normally have like a big brunch to save a bit of money. Not at the Boathouse, I must add at the moment. One day, who never knows. but it's just the fact that every day we've got to buy food because we're there for 20 odd days.
Right.
So, being from the UK, we've always had to make sure we save our money. And value for money, oh, come on. I mean, as I was just saying just now, I wasn't, I was joking a little bit, but, I can go to Stonehenge for $60 and I'm looking at a stone,
Right.
I mean, it's good, I'm not denying it, but what I'm saying is the value for money you're going to get from a Disney ticket outweighs it easily.
Right.
People
are saying, somebody just said that they spent $500 on one ticket to go see Hamilton.
Yeah.
Right. That's a couple of hours. And that's why I keep saying about it being a subjective thing. Like for me, I would rather forego that ticket so I know that I can, I'll use that money towards my my annual passes. Yeah. Right. And there are the other benefits too. Like I think that's I said I use the old American Express commercial as a crutch, but the membership does have its privileges, like the VIP pass holder nights and some of the things that they do for pass holders. Like Disney has finally, and it took them a while, but Disney has finally started to show their appreciation with things like that, discounts, early access, special events for their most loyal guests.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, it always hurts. Of course it does to have to pay more. But it's like everything. You've got to pay for everything. But like I said just now, you're getting the quality for you. It'd be the quality for the dollar, which you're getting out of Disney. You can't get anywhere else, honestly. Yep. It's not, hence why we've been going for 30 years, whatever it is. Because if you go to a British park compared to a Disney park, you'll know the difference. You'll see why.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not just necessarily the weather.
No, I'm with you, brother. And like I said, that's how I'm able to justify it. And I'm willing to make the personal sacrifices so I can continue to buy 4 annual passes for my family. Everybody has to sort of make their own judgments based on how, when, where and they travel. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we've been going for donkey's years now, and it's still, for us, value for money per day. It is a lot more expensive, but we know when we get there, we're going to have, a cracking good time.
Yeah.
For the dosh that we spend, we're going to get really good value.
And Martin, I'm with you. Look, my kid's annual passes expired not too long ago, and my wife called me from the front of Magic Kingdom saying, "Hey, the kids' passes aren't working." And I'm like, is it that time of year again? I'm like, do you guys really need to go today? Like, you sure you want to go to the park today? But I know how much it means to them, and I know, the benefits and how much we enjoy it. And it still hurts, when that call comes, I'm like, okay, go renew their passes. It absolutely hurts. But when you go with your kids, you have those experiences, it's all worthwhile for me.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been doing this since 1989, and there's no other place for me now. So all my money's gone to Disney. But I don't regret it. Well, people think I'm mad, here, but I don't, because like you just said, the memories I've had.
Yeah.
Because the kids have grown up for it. Even though I must admit, though, our eldest son there goes, "Not Disney again." I said, "What? What are you on about? Who are you?"
Man, you get it or you don't. You get it.
Yeah, he only jokes, but he's been so many times, and for his thing, he's like, other kids and his kind of friends type thing going, "Really, you're going again?" And it's because there's no other better place. Honestly, There isn't. We've done all the bits. We've done the little places. I've been to Ibiza and all that stuff. I've been burnt and all that. I don't want to get burnt anymore. I want to have a park with a bit of fun.
Right.
So I sacrificed also. I sacrificed my football team for this, which is actually less pain, to be honest. But
right. Sometimes it's a good thing not seeing every game or every match. Right?
Yeah. Disney charge you a bit more. You can sacrifice things like that, and it's worth it. They're doing you a favour.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's going to happen. Oh, I tell you what, I'm going to have to do. I think thinking about it for the 2021. I think I better start buying me tickets now because I think they're going to go up. Don't you?
Yeah, I mean, look, they have, like I said, every year since 1987 or 97 or whatever the year's been, they've continued to go up. But by the same token, I also think, and I really did my research ahead of time in terms of the added benefits and discount. Look, if you go to Aulani, your annual pass I think saves you up to 35% on your tickets there on your resort room there. So it extends beyond just the confines of the park itself too, if that's something that you're, is on the radar. But there is a lot. There is a lot. And I think depending, if somebody said, can we just do it for one person if we go once a year? Yeah, you absolutely can. That's what Martin does. And it makes financial sense thinking about where you're going to stay, how you're going to go, how you're going to visit the parks. Again, I've also got right.
I was going to say I've also got a kind of like a how would you put it? A little kind of side issue in there as well. I can always persuade the missus that I've got an annual pass, might as well use it. Can I go again?
Right? You have to go. You've already paid for it, so you got to go.
Exactly. I've got to get my money's worth.
It's actually cheaper. The more you go, the cheaper it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told her. So I went on solos 2017, wasn't it? When we went to Kona Cafe and all that stuff, because that was my annual pass from the year before. And it's like, brain, it speaks for itself. Might as well do it. Just what about the tickets? Oh, don't worry about the tickets. What about food? No, don't worry. Lose buying. Be all right.
Your secret is safe with me, brother. Don't worry.
Well, I hope to be out solo next year to Disney on my own. I'm hoping to get to see, like, say, Galaxy Quest, and I can. It's a research trip for the family, as we say.
Exactly, brother. And I look forward to seeing you in just a few months.
Ooh. Yeah. One little bit I forgot to say to you, which I was getting in a lot of trouble about, but we're off to Disneyland Paris for our 30th wedding anniversary.
Oh, good for you. God bless, man. Congratulations.
Well, I was waiting for you to get out there, but you haven't turned up. So
I know. I'm trying. I'm desperately trying.
We'll be out there in August, which we think about is August the 5th was our when we got married, and we were out in Disneyland, for the first time in August the 8th, I think it was something like that, and then Disney World a week later. So it's been 30 years of doing this. So I can tell you from here, from a UK guy, it's worth the money. No matter what, I'll still save and I'll still be there. Plus, I get to meet you and everyone else, all our friends, in one place, which is magical. You can't beat it. Sorry.
I love it, brother.
End of story. Drops the mic.
Go get some sleep, my friend.
Yeah, I will try to now. It's only 1:45, so yeah. So thank you for taking my call, sir.
Anytime, brother.
And I look forward to seeing you when I do, Lou.
Sounds good, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Angela Badura, will Galaxy's Edge preview be luck of the draw? Email invites. No, they said it's going to be first come, first serve. So keep an eye on your email for if you're not an annual pass holder in terms of the Galaxy's Edge previews for Walt Disney World APs.
Email invites. No, they said
hey, it's Lou. You're on the air. Please turn down.
Hey, Lou, it's Kelly down in
Kelly.
Miami, cousin in Miami.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Great. I have a question kind of relating to this. It's about Tables in Wonderland.
Yes.
You said that you've got Tables in Wonderland, and I never thought as an annual pass holder and a Florida resident that was worth it. So convince me. Should I get Tables in Wonderland? Bruce and I love to eat.
Okay, so as soon as you said I love to eat, then yes, right? So you save 20% for up to 10 people on food and alcohol. Like, depending on where you go and how often you come here and where you eat, you can literally justify the cost of the tables, which I think now is $125. It might be $150. But you go to a couple of nice meals with a bottle of wine or a couple of drinks, and the money you've saved, you've made up for your tables. Plus, you can also valet park for free. Yeah. So there's also Tables in Wonderland special events that are only for Tables in Wonderland members. Some of them are very, very cool, like backstage kind of things and chef hosted events. So there's a ton of reasons. And if you're a food lover, without a doubt, like my Tables burns a hole in my pocket.
Really?
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is I know that the annual pass gives us some discount on some of the places.
It does, but Tables will. Tables is over. I think it's over 100 now. Restaurants for up to 10. And again, you also get the valet parking as well too, because I think sometimes your annual pass will only give you 10 to 15%, and sometimes there's no AP discounts at all.
True.
So it's nice.
Okay, well, I know that was regarding this, and also Bruce said you better renew the platinum annual pass. Believe it or not, our pass
comes up to renewal August 18th. And I know darn well that the Galaxy's Edge preview is going to be right after that.
Right.
So,
right.
so it's just luck of the draw. We have to renew. So
yeah, renew it now.
There,
This way, renew it now. This way, you stay on the email list, because I'm sure that's how they're going to correspond. And I believe it's going to be a first come first serve type of thing. So it might be even in earlier
August. Stay on top of it.
Yeah, it might be the first couple of weeks of August too.
Well, I look forward to seeing you again, Lou.
I do as well.
Soon.
Always a pleasure hearing
Your
from
cousin.
you. Absolutely. I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Okay, bye,
Take
Lou.
care. Bye-bye. Love Kelly, cousin in Miami. I remember getting together with you at the Contemporary, and you showed me all of your old memorabilia. And If You Had Wings, you gave me a postcard, I think it was a postcard or something from If You Had Wings from Walt Disney World in the 70s. Joey Davidson, you do not have to be a Florida resident for Tables in Wonderland. You can also get it if you are a Disney Vacation Club member. So if you're a DVC member, you can get that as well. So take one more before we call night. Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air.
Hi, my name is Devin from Dallas, Texas.
Hi, Devin from Dallas.
Hi. I had a quick question for you. I was kind of curious. Do you think that they'll ever open up the other aspects of like the annual passes? Because my issue is I come from Texas and I have the Platinum Pass. But now that it's getting so expensive and I have a family of 4, my littlest is about to turn 3, so we'll have to start doing the Platinum Pass for him as well, which I'm dying over the cost of that. But anyway, for me, I think my little beef, I think, is just the fact that, there's no other option for out of state except for Platinum or Platinum Plus. But it's you could do Gold or Silver or whatever, and then, you lose out on, the blackout dates or whatever, but you still plan accordingly. You still can get benefits, but just not, you have your, you have the blackout dates.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's hard, and the types of annual passes have changed a number of times over the years, and I think, again, trying to sort of play devil's advocate, I think part of the reason why is to help control the number of guests, especially in summertime, because what ends up happening is then you pay for an annual pass and you're like, why am I paying so much? And the parks are so crowded. It's a very sharp double-edged sword, because you need to somehow, forgive the euphemism, you have to sort of thin the herd a little bit, because as somebody who is local, I see how many days, the number of days are increasing that the parks are at capacity or very, very crowded. And then you see those pictures on Twitter and Facebook of a mobbed Magic Kingdom. You're like, well, why am I going to go? Why am I going to get my annual pass? So I understand it from a guest experience perspective as well, changing the tiers and changing the pricing.
Yeah. And I think, the thing that I think of, because a lot of, I'm, we, like I said, I'm a family board, but, I'm the one that's funding all and pushing all the Disney things, and we try to go at least 2 to 3 times a year. I think the hard part for me is, I look at, kind of the culture of what Disney is, and then look at, I listen, like I said, I listen to your, well, I didn't say that, but I do listen to your podcast and all that kind of stuff, too, but I look at, what Walt's vision was, and then now seeing all these price increase and how, especially how this gets is so high, it feels like it's becoming more elitist instead of family like he wanted.
Yeah, and I can't speculate in terms of what Walt would want, other than saying, look, Walt was a businessman too. Walt,
for sure.
Walt,
well, that's,
we joke around about how, Disney is not a charity, and Disney's not in the business of making money. They're in the business of making a lot of money, and they have shareholders and they have, fiscal obligations as well. And that's why I was bringing up the point too about, I think when we see a price increase, we think about the impact that it has on us, but we also don't think about what the spend is for the company itself. The resorts, the gondolas, Galaxy's Edge, On Two Coasts, lots of other things that are in the pipeline, the increase in cast member salaries and benefits and increase in the number of cast members. That 60,000 single site employer number is a bit dated. I think that number is closer to 70,000 now, not including seasonal cast members too. So the money is going somewhere. I mean, it's being utilized for ultimately the guest benefit. So I do get it. I mean, I don't like it. Like I said, I don't like it because I have to pay for mine too, but I get it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for your time. And if you ever need a photographer, I'm usually trying to get to Disney as much as possible.
Well, that's awesome. Send me a link or share in the box some links to some of your photos, or post some photos, some of your favorite Disney photos that you've ever taken in the parks.
No, sounds good. I will.
Awesome. Thank you so much for calling.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Go Giants. She's in Dallas. I have to say it. Yeah, I'm just quickly reading some of the comments, and I see it's almost 9 o'clock. Listen, I appreciate everybody's input and commentary in terms of your thoughts on the price increases. Again, my job in my deciding to talk about this tonight is in no way, shape, or form meant to try and convince anybody. I explained to you what, from a personal perspective, how and why I get it, how I am able to do what I need to do in order to afford it, maybe some things you can do. But I also, I wanted to try and help alleviate some of the sticker shock, because I think when we hear that, we forget about what some of the, not just primary, but the secondary and tertiary benefits of having the annual pass are. And then as you start to talk it out some more, that sticker shock starts to go away a little bit more when you hear about the percentages that you save on merchandise, on food, on resorts, the members only, not the jackets, but the perks that come with being an annual pass holder. And look, it does, like I was kidding around with Martin, like when you have it, it makes going back to Disney again a little easier. Like, well, we've already paid for the ticket, so let's do it again. Because I think the reason why we love it so much is because of how the place makes us feel. And sometimes you're having a crummy day or a crummy week at work, or life is just life. Maybe a little trip to Disney is a little easier when you have your annual pass. You're like, you know what? We're going to drive over for the weekend, or we're going to, make a quick trip over for the weekend. But I certainly welcome conversation and discussion on both sides. I would love to hear your thoughts, pro or con annual pass. If you are an annual pass holder, what do you think about the price increase? Is it going to make you change your mind? Is it going to make you change the way you approach vacationing to Walt Disney World, or visiting the parks, or even the things that you do while you're there? I would rather be able to go to Disney a couple of extra times and maybe not eat a table service meal. Maybe have a counter service meal instead, or, not get, as many souvenirs, or cut out the water parks, or do something so that I can have the annual pass. So, but again, I would love to keep the conversation going in the Box People group, and I am quickly looking for my Box People. There it is. In the Box People group, if you are not a member of the Box People, and you can actually find out why we call it the Box People by being in there as well. Also, don't forget, if you haven't listened to show 556, little Jimmy Corkus and I talk about Finding Florida Part 2, the decisions, the deception, and mystery. Insert Bond-like music here. Also, don't forget to, if you are in Walt Disney World, you don't even need to be an annual pass holder. Whoops. I'd love to see you. Wow, it's this Saturday. I forgot it's the 22nd already. This Saturday at Katsura Grill, which, as you know, is like my favorite place. One of my favorite places in Walt Disney World, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come alone, bring the whole family, bring the kids. It's family friendly. And oh, by the way, they have got yummy food as well. I will have some more announcements about Momentum. So if you're looking for yet another excuse to get your annual pass and come to Walt Disney World, Momentum, September 28th and 29th. I have extended the super duper special early bird pricing until, I believe, Monday or Friday or Monday. Well, I think it's Monday. So if you're thinking about coming, it's a great weekend to help you sort of, like I say, turn what you love into what you do. If you have any questions about it, let me know, or just go to LouMongello.com/momentum. Again, keep the comments and the conversation going in the Box People group about annual passes. And as always, if you have any questions, maybe about if annual pass is right for you, my friends over at Mouse Fan Travel can definitely help you there. I hope that this is your best week ever. Thank you so much for spending and sharing your Wednesday night with me, with us. You are my friends. More importantly, you are my family, and I love and appreciate you so, so very much. Anything else? I don't know. There's nobody there. I'm talking to myself. I feel like I'm forgetting something, so I'm stalling for time, but I'm probably not. So thank you again, members of the Box, members of the WDW Radio Nation. Have a great week. Have a great night. See ya.